Welcome back, fellow lords and ladies. When last we left off, the Serbian king was ruthlessly cracking down on foreign resistance within his realm, and preparing to set sail to the Holy Land to participate in the First Crusade for Jerusalem. With the Civil War handily won, I ready the mighty Serbian fleet and prepare my crusading force for departure. The Pope is less than happy that I took so long to reach the Holy Land, and I receive a penalty of -200 piety for having taken so long and prioritizing the creation of my empire above the duty of the Lord, but is nonetheless grateful that my host eventually arrives. The King of the Serbians will forever be remembered as a great and mighty leader of the First Crusade. Unfortunately, the peasant rabble do not see the great mission that I was on as worthy of my attention, and as I was busy fighting in the Holy Land, discontent Croatians and Hungarians rose up in a series of peasant revolts back in my home kingdom. Being half the Mediterranean Sea away, my army was simply unable to put an end to this insurgence. As such, a ruthless army of mercenaries was hired to clean up the rabble. At long last, through trial and tribulation and a great amount of bloodshed, with the aid of my great Serbian host, the Pope finally declared a righteous victory in the First Crusade, granting the title of Crusader Queen of Jerusalem to none other than a member of my own dynasty. A great hoard of riches was rewarded to me for my great efforts in the crusade, making me one of the wealthiest and most prestigious men in all of Christendom. This wealth and this prestige would go a long way in helping me crack down on foreign resistance within my own realm. To the east, a second liberation war was waged against the barbaric Pechenegs, granting precious land in the Carpathians needed to further solidify my rule. This granted me an additional ducal title that I needed to hand away to a Serbian noble, bringing me that much closer to my ultimate goal of having 12 dukes under vassalage. Whether through sheer stupidity or utter arrogance, the pathetic Venetian city declared independence from Serbian hegemony at the death of the late king. I received a massive 70 gold per year in tribute from the Venetians, as well as military support for every war that I fought. This simply could not be allowed to continue. This insolence could not be tolerated. A simple war of aggression would put the most serene Doge back in his place as a subservient of the mighty Slavic king. The Serbian king's wife, unfaithful lecher as she was, possessed an incredibly valuable claim to the Sicilian throne. This placed the lands of southern Italy within the grasp of the mighty Serbian kingdom. And even though she was caught multiple times in affairs with Norman nobles, and having no clue whether the children she bore me was my own or not, those children were of my dynasty and would inherit any claims that she possessed. The Normans in Sicily were preoccupied in other wars, leaving the lands of the south wide open for occupation. The Serbians wasted no time in seizing the castles for the crown. With the war won, the King of Serbia was effectively also the King of Sicily through his wife, setting my children up to be the inheritors of a mighty empire that stretched across the Adriatic Sea. I will fully admit, after all the confusion and mental gymnastics that was required to finally take over this kingdom of Sicily, I was very relieved to finally have it subdued. A final civil war against the Croatian aristocracy was waged to usurp the last stronghold of foreign power. By this time, the combined forces of Serbia, Hungary, Wallachia, and Sicily was far too great for the Croatians to contend with, and victory was achieved with little effort. Once the war was won, time was taken to revoke the ducal titles from the Croatian lords and hand them over to loyal Serbian aristocrats. At this point, I achieved the remaining goals of the featured ruler challenge. I had 12 Serbian vassal dukes under my control, I was in possession of 2 of the 3 recommended kingdoms for conquest, both Croatia and Hungary, and I had a plethora of Catholic bishops that were lapping at my feet. However, I was far too invested in this campaign to leave it now. The title of king simply does not do justice to the great amount of authority, power, and respect that I wielded as the king of both Serbia, Hungary, Croatia, and Wallachia. A more fitting title simply had to do. Through bribes, cajoling, and any other means necessary, I secured the loyalty of the last of my new ducal Serbian vassals, and enacted primogeniture in each of my 4 kingdoms. And with that, the Serbian Empire of Carpathia was finally born. Thus begins a golden age of peace and prosperity in the Grand Serbian Empire. In just 3 short generations, the Serbians have gone from a small rebellion on the borders and fringes of the Byzantines to a mighty empire powerful enough to rival the empire that once had subdued it. Thank you all very much for watching these videos. If you'd like to see more of content just like this, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to know when I post videos. In the comments section below, let me know what sort of other challenges you'd like to see me undertake. While I do like to play through the entire breadth and depth of the Crusader Kings world, I absolutely am biased and prefer hailing Odin every chance I get. I'll see you all next time.